Berta is offering odds boosts on every Oilers game all season long. And for a limited time only, our listeners can score a $50 free bet when they deposit $50 using code GYB50. That's how Alberta wins.
Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to 2026 here on Got Your Back. 2025 was a great year. Tons of laughs, tons of fun, tons of engagement with our amazing audience. We love all of you, and we're looking forward to doing it again for another solid year. Welcome to Got Your Back, folks. Going to break down last night's loss to the Boston Bruins, and also our first chance as a threesome to break down Team Canada's roster announcement. That and some New Year's resolutions, shall we? As always, our show brought to you by Timber Host, our title sponsor. If you're tired of cookie cutter, copy and paste designs with no soul, see the team at Timber Host, and you can discover how naturally inspired living can make your life better. Take all the guesswork out of your infill project and work with experienced leaders. Visit timberhost.ca. I am coming at you from our Timber Host studio out here in Sherwood Park. Discover how naturally inspired living can make your life better. Excuse me. Happy New Year, boys. How we doing? Brownie, how are you, pal?
I'm doing fantastic. This year's been awesome so far. I can hardly wait for it to continue. I'm having a great time. Strud, you?
Oh, what did you do last night, Shogger? Holy jeez, come up for air, man.
Yeah.
I thought you were working last night.
I wish I had some sort of great story to tell you about, like, oh man, yeah, we crushed it and Happy New Year, and there was a rave and glow sticks and soothers and jumping around and stuff. No, 12 o'clock at my neighbor's house, walked back to the house, went straight to bed, and woke up this morning with a cold. That's my New Year's. There was no party. There was no, like, work to home. 25 minutes later, Happy New Year's, bed, and then a cold this morning. And
You're living too healthy. You're living too healthy. You got to start living like Struds. Be more like Struds. That's my motto.
Gotta.
Just wander around telling everybody how handsome I am. That's got to be my thing now.
Live in an illusion. Just live in an illusion.
I tried to get after last night. I tried hard, and it was hard to get traction. I was drinking, but it's almost too long. He's 6-7 hours, and it's hard to get. I'm more of a sprinter. Hit the ground, 5 shooters, 3 beers, out the door at 10.
But who says you have to start at 6 p.m. for your New Year's party? Like, what's wrong with you? You're 50 years old.
I know, but you got to keep going. You got to just set the tone, get out there. But I couldn't get the traction I required to really hit the high notes last night. It was fun, but I just couldn't get there.
How about you, Zoobs?
Oh, I was just telling Brownie before we started here. I think this is the first time in many years my wife and I actually made it to midnight, and she was so surprised. I'm in my closet hanging up laundry, and she comes in and she goes, "Hey, we made it!" But she scared the crap out of me. I almost jumped out of my socks. I like I didn't know the tone of her coming in, what she was trying to say to me. And I thought I had done something wrong. So the way she exclaimed, "Hey!" really, she scared the crap out of me. And then she's like, "We made it till midnight." I was like, "Oh, okay, great." So we had a little laugh about that, but that was the big moment.
Why are you hanging laundry at midnight? Like, what are you doing?
Because that's when it was done. I don't know. Because we're repacking another ski trip, and I don't know. Everything's a little topsy turvy right now. But that was the big exciting moment in the Zuby house at midnight.
You got
Pacific
Struddy
time.
going on 6-7 hour benders, and you got Zuby folding laundry at midnight. Like, we got polar opposites on this broadcast.
Holy
right
smokes!
I had a glass of sangria. That was nice.
Oh, so you finally made it till midnight on a New Year's, and you got distracted and were folding laundry rather than celebrating.
Yes.
Well, that sounds like going on a couples trip and playing board games the whole time in the lobby.
Exactly.
Board games is good bonding time. That's some of the best time you can have with your spouse engaged in board games. calling each other all kinds of terrible names because you're frustrated they won't trade you wheat in Settlers of Catan. That is a bonding moment.
Quickly in my defense, we did. I have a 6 and an 8-year-old, so we did New York New Year at 9,
right,
with the ball dropping. So that was our bigger moment.
So it was done. Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Catherine Catharsis says you can see the boys just woke up. LMAO. So was this better? I was on Nielsen's show yesterday, and he's like, so you got your back tonight? And I was like, nope. I care more about my employees liking me. And so I'm giving everyone the night off, and we're doing it in the morning. But as I sit here this morning feeling like shit with a cold, was this better? Was this better, Struds? This was better?
Oh, it was better. Yeah. I mean, listen, it's good. We'll do it. And I think it's a night. I actually will be interested to see how we feel after a night of sleeping on what we saw last night from the Oilers and the Team Canada.
Good point.
I think it does, because I think I've changed my mind a little bit overnight.
Yeah.
Wow. Huh.
Interesting. Was it something I said?
No, it was just self-reflection, right? Usually it's just self-reflection over a couple of glasses of port.
Okay, well, let's get into some reflecting on the Oiler game last night, shall we? I'll apologize in advance for any frogs in my throat. Is it a night off if you have to wake up early, says Knockout Panda. I think it still is. I think when it's New Year's, I think the boss gets credit for just being an all-around great guy on that one, Knockout Panda. Thank you for that.
Okay, well, thanks, Randine.
Yeah. All right, let's get to the breakdown, brought to you by the Canadian Brew House. During every Oiler game day at the Canadian Brew House, enter at any Edmonton and area location for your chance to win Oiler home game tickets. Plus, enjoy $1 off Molson Canadian and Coors Light tankards. It is Edmonton born. It is Canadian operated. It's from here. It's the Canadian Brew House. We're super pumped to have the Canadian Brew House as part of our show this year. Love that place. Been chasing them around for a few years and really happy to have them on as sponsors into 2026. Okay. I'm a little fuzzy. Had to go back over the details of last night and took a look. I don't know, guys, Struds, where do you want to start? I think we need to talk about goaltending. I think we need to talk about overall quality of play. But what do you hang that loss on last night, Struddy?
Yeah, you know what? I think I've changed my mind from last night. I'm going to say just finish, right? Like, they had chances, especially early. They had chances. So is it finish or is it the goaltending? And we can challenge some of the saves that weren't made by the Oilers, but I just think the lack of finish last night, it just wasn't their night to finish off chances, Brownie.
You're right. I mean, you look at Connor McDavid to start with. He had 5 grade A looks in the first 25 minutes of the game, 4 partial breakaways, and then a one-timer from the slot. Swayman was exceptional. But to me, this goes back to earlier in the year where the Oilers played well enough in some games to win. They had enough chances, but they ran into a good goaltender. But when you give up 6, that means you need 7. So as much finish as the Oilers could have had last night, they needed to finish 7 goals. To me, it was this is a carry-on of everything they've done since post-Christmas. They were not good in Calgary defensively. They were terrible in Winnipeg defensively, and they were terrible last night. Good goaltending masks the first 2 games. But tonight last night with average goaltending, you saw a team that just leaked grade A chances. So to me, they could have scored more goals. And if Swayman didn't stand on his head, but they needed 7. This was a really poor defensive effort by the Edmonton Oilers. And that's from all the way from the top players all the way through their goaltender.
Yeah, I like what you said there, Brownie, about a continuation of a quality of play defensively that hasn't, it caught up with them last night because the goaltending was what it was last night. Since the break, the quality of play has definitely come down. They're not making sure, they're not defending in the same way, and their finish has kind of gone out the window a little bit. I mean, the sheer pace that McDavid was putting up points before was ridiculous, and that was powering them through to some unreal wins. But Strud's original point about the finish not quite being there, I think that makes a lot of sense. 17 shots between those two guys. 17 shots between McDavid and Draisaitl in one game. The Oilers end up with 2 goals. Like that feels a little bit nutty. Digging in on Ingram here, and Zuby, you can feel free to chime in on some of these too. Running through the goals, guys, I mean, I think, would it be fair to say that the second one from the slot from Middlestat was probably the worst one of the bunch, that 2-0 goal?
I don't know. I thought the glove hand one he missed.
Oh, yeah.
Which
Walker.
one? Oh, yeah, the glove one?
Yeah.
Off the glove and in?
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
Those are the two. Those are the two.
Yeah,
Okay.
those are the two. The one I think I'll give him a pass on is when Pasternak skates from the top of the circles in with his stick, hitting the pigeons in the top of the roof. No one sees him, and it puts it. Who is it? Put it right on his stick for a one-timer. I think I'll give him a pass on that one.
That was the only time last night where Bouchard turned away from the goal and it didn't hit him in the butt. So he was unfortunate on that one. But
I couldn't believe it. 8-8. Keep an eye on 8-8. Oh, bang.
Oh boy.
There's one superstar on the Bruins. They got one great player. Yeah. Oh, he's the guy that's wide open, no one covered.
Oh, it was crazy. That was a bomb. Oh my God.
So Ingram's first performance since getting called up. And this is what I'm interested in, you guys. Like, Connor Ingram is a talented enough goaltender to come up and put 3-4 really nice games together. Mm-hmm. He is. We know that. What I'm interested with Connor Ingram is, I mean, he hasn't done this for a while at this level. So how do you respond when things go poorly? How do you respond after an off night? How do you respond when the pressure starts coming in on you a little bit? And that's the sign of a goaltender that can, is ready to take things on in this market, is being a good bounce back goaltender as well. So I have some curiosity here, Struds, about what we're going to see from Ingram moving forward. Now, I believe Pickard will get the next start. I think Pickard should have started last night, and I said that before last night, so that's not revisionist history. But it's going to be interesting to see how Ingram responds to this.
Well, I thought you might say that because you talked about the bounce back and how they feel, and I agree with you. And I think that it's about the firsts, right? All these firsts, whether it's Tristan Jarry or Ingram, your first win, your first bad goal against, your first whatever, all these things, and how do you go back and go? So, part of me thinks, do you put him back in there next game? Pick probably deserves it because of what he did the game before. This year I have really very little feeling for the touch that Knobloch's using with the goalies. I think I've been wrong almost every time I predicted it. So Pickard
as opposed to past years when you've been just dead nuts on it?
Well, nailed it a lot of times. But either way, when you look around
at it. You are not the goalie whisperer.
No, but I think I'd do it differently, right? But whatever. I mean, he's the coach. But honestly, I think with Ingram, like last night was a tough night. Like those two goals, and it was tough. I didn't think he had that many amazing grade A chances against him, but the ones they did were really, really good. And there could have been other goals, like Bush blocked two to Brownie's point where he's actually facing the wrong way, and it just hit him in the back of the leg, and they would have gone in the middle of the net. So, whatever. It's one of those nights where I think everyone is a little bit off, including the netminder.
Yeah, I mean, you have to go back with Calvin Pickard. I mean, you started Ingram 3 in a row, and one of the things you said, you play well, you stay in. Well, Pickard played really well, to your point, Schauger, and didn't get back-to-back games. But he deserves the net. And I think also let Ingram sit on it for a while. Think about it before he gets back in and see what he does with adversity. It's not going to be a roller coaster going up the entire way. There's going to be ups and downs. And who knows with Jarry. Maybe it turns into habitual where he's always hurt, and all of a sudden Ingram and Pickard are your two guys. So you want to see what he does with adversity. I think you find out more about your team and your players when you see them face adversity. Does he bounce back or does he crater? So I think this is, as much as you don't want this to happen, it might be a good thing long run for the Edmonton Oilers to see how he bounces back from an off night, because there will be other off nights later in the season. Is he your answer?
I think this coaching staff needs to be more flexible in different ways. I think they get stuck to plans and stuck to schedules. I think they need to reward guys who go out there and do the most important thing, which is excel. I think anytime someone excels, they deserve to play the next game. We've seen multiple times this year, whether it's Philp earlier in the year getting yanked, just different situations where you're like, that doesn't make hockey sense. I don't understand why you're doing that. That doesn't make hockey sense. Calvin Pickard stole a game for them. Calvin Pickard's in a fight for his life. Give him the next game. Let him go back in and do it again. Because when players see a goalie do that for them and then see all of a sudden the other guys getting in when there's a rest day in between, I just don't think it makes sense. Break free from your schedule and let it make hockey sense. I think they're too stuck on stuff like that. Struds.
Yeah, he doesn't like having players sit too long that he values, right? Like and that's the skaters more. And because I don't agree, you should never change a winning lineup. That never makes sense. I don't care if one guy plays terribly. It just doesn't make sense. But on the back end, yeah, I mean, if Pick would have played last night, I would have been blown away. But I think there's also part of it for goalies. They want to know their routine and they kind of get prepared, right? They say, you're going to start this game, you get your mindset ready and your reps in, Brownie.
Yeah. And I mean, Sugar, it's a good point. Is Noah Philp a better player? And is he still here? Had he not been benched the 2 games that he scored and he got a little bit of traction earlier in the season? He had a great game. He was first star and he sat out the next game. And that messes with a player. And Struds and I'll tell you from experience, when you play well and you get pulled out of the lineup, you're like, okay, seriously, what did I do? Why am I the one out? Curtis Lazar.
What do I have to do? What do I have to do?
What do I have to do? Exactly.
Yeah,
Curtis Lazar. There's no reason. Yeah, there's no reason Curtis Lazar should have been in the press box. He's outplayed Frederick. He's outplayed Mangiapane. And he's the one sitting out. And I understand his role here is a 12-13. But to your point, reward players who play well. And to Struds, I said, what did I do wrong? And Struds' point is good. What do I have to do better? Because I hit my bar and it's still not good enough. So, yeah, I see. I understand your point there, Shagar.
I think the team really likes Calvin Pickard. I think he's a popular player in there. I think everybody knows the score. Everybody knows what's going on with Cal Pickard here. He's fighting for his NHL life. And when he gets in there and throws a haymaker like he did in this battle between the 3 of them, I think the players would want to see him get another look. Like, get him back in there. Yes, Calvin. I think they're, rooting for him. And it's not that I don't think they like the other guys, but I just think they appreciate this guy's battle level, and I think that needs to be rewarded. To the Weiss Johnson sound box. Should you need a new train, furnace, air conditioner, heat pump, hot water tank, or garage heater, Weiss Johnson's offering 24 months, no interest, equal payments, OAC to make your purchase easier. Visit WJJingle.com for exclusive specials. Just for Got Your Back jingle lovers, the first Weiss Johnson jingle of 2026. Jingle.
Weiss Johnson, whoa.
We're going full jingle. Full jingle on New Year's here. So I need that second verse. Let's get the big finish there. All right, the head coach on his goaltending decisions lately. Why Ingram? What's going on with his thought process?
Almost game by game, or at least 2 games ahead. I think Ingram came in, played well that first game. We gave him the game back, and then we had the break after Christmas, and then he returned, played after that. Obviously, with Picks playing as well as he did, that certainly will affect our decision. He'll most likely play next game, we'll see how Picks plays that next game and go from there. But we definitely want to see how Ingram's playing, but we feel that we got 2 good quality goalies that can be for us for a backup role, and I guess we want the one who's plays the best.
Slash should have started Pickard last game. Zuby, going to throw you a curveball here. Let's get to core adjustments, because the Oilers made a core adjustment in game last night that I want to discuss. That's brought to you by HSE Core Services. If you need a safety program, they will build it. If you need it managed, they can do that too. And if you're stuck dealing with online safety registries that your clients make you sign up for, they will handle those too. If you own a business, you know exactly the stuff that we're talking about. They will also do core audits. Visit www.hsecor.com. That's hsecor.com for more information. So Mangiapane goes from healthy scratch to the second line at morning skates to, 2 or 3 minutes of ice time on that second line, and then drop back down in favor of Jack Roslovic, who gets elevated from the third line center position. You guys had a great discussion about this last pod, about the need to build that third line, and you can tell they want to. The problem is you got to rob from Peter to pay Paul. You're robbing from your top 6 to try and create that third line, Struds. They want to, they're trying to, but it's not working, and they keep gravitating back. And this is about Mangiapane underperforming, Struds. He can't hold that spot down.
Yeah. And I'm not going to disagree there, but they don't have a third line center, guys. That's the reality. And Rico's trying his best, and God love him, but he's just not there right now. Like last night, the fourth line of Rico, Jones, and Frederick, I thought they were fairly effective. Right, that looks like a fourth line. The problem is, Savoy with Janmark and Mangiapane, that isn't a third line. That's a fourth line, right? So you have two fourth lines. So, yesterday on Struddy's World, not to pat my back, but I brought up some guys like Arikala or Ryan O'Reilly, Wenberg, and Charlie Coyle that are options, I think, for that third line center position. So, we're going to keep beating this up, but you're trying to make, nothing out of something or something out of nothing, guys. So I don't know. There's no solution right now. He's trying, but there isn't one, Brownie.
Well, again, we got in an argument. Jack Roslovic is not a third line center. He belongs with Leon. Like, let's stamp it right there. The Oilers, ever since Leon has been here, they've been looking for a winger for Leon Draisaitl. They found him, and yet they move him away and put in the third line center. You know what? It'll be great for the Oilers at one point to build a third line. Second line's more important. That's why it's higher in the depth chart. So let's make sure we keep the good second line, and we'll worry about our two fourth lines later. Mangiapane, it's. I mean, only Max Jones had less ice time than him yesterday. He got 3 shifts, and he was moved off that line. And it's not even just the rat-like nature that they wanted from him, they expected from him. Plays die on his stick, and you cannot play in the Oilers' top 9 if plays die on your stick. You can hide it on the fourth line and just be energy, but you can't have it die on your stick, and it has too often for Mangiapane. To me, he's earned his spot back in the press box. Curtis Lazar gives you more. And I agree with Struds. The fourth line is a very good fourth line, but then again, you got a $3.2 million guy on your fourth line in Frederick. That's where he belongs. So the Oilers have 2 first lines, 2 fourth lines, and until there's a move, they don't have anything internally that can fix it.
Yeah. That's it. Two first lines, 2 fourth lines. Just nailed it, Brownie. And I don't think there's a solution in the minors. And you can bring up more skilled players, but none of them are a third line center. And you build a line around a center. I think that's what he was trying to do with Roslovic, trying to say, okay, can this guy hold it down? He's played center, but I like him better on the wing too. There's less responsibilities. He can just wheel and deal, not worry about the full ice. So I think we have to accept until they make a trade, there's 2 fourth lines on this team, and you play them as such.
You know what's a little, I don't want to say nutty, but to me, the possibility that went from before to meh now is if Mangiapane doesn't find his game and other players keep pushing, I mean, at a certain point, you just send a guy to the minors. Like, he's got a no trade. He doesn't have a no move. So you can just, I mean, if you can't use him and you can't keep him in and his game continues to be at this level, say, go down to the minors, play on the first line, find your game. We'll call you back up when you do. I mean, it sucks. It's not why you signed him. It'd be tough. I don't think there's anything preventing him from doing it. He'll clear through waivers. That'll be a wake-up call, clearing through waivers.
Well,
I don't know.
Shogger,
I don't know if it's anytime soon, but
you hope that he doesn't clear waivers. Then you just cleared $3.6 million. But if you send him to the minors, I know that. But you send him to the minors, how does that affect your salary cap?
Yeah, I don't think it's a ton of savings, but I mean, I don't know if that matters. So, it's not about that.
Well, no, yeah, it does matter though, because if the Oilers want to make a move, they need as much salary cap space available. So if you send him down to the minors, how much do you have to eat on your salary cap? Plus, you got to bring someone up from the minors who's going to it'll be a low contract. So I think that's also you got to take into consideration, because the Oilers want as much room available on their cap at the deadline to get. I mean, Strud threw out some nice names that would be awesome for the third line, but they ain't cheap. So you got to have cap space to do that. So I think that is an option, but it's only an option depending on what it does to the salary cap.
Yeah. All those guys I mentioned are $5 million or less. So you kind of crawl through the rest of the season, and it's not outrageous, but and maybe Mangiapane's a guy that goes the other way. The problem is that costs assets. And, I don't want it. I'd love to have one of those centermen. Alec Hall, I don't think it'd be that much to get. But the other ones, like Ryan O'Reilly with 2 years left on his deal, that's expensive. Like at $4.5 million, that's a really, really, really valuable player for the Oilers. But do you want to give up Mike Howard? Do you want to give up? Who are you giving up for that? That's what I don't want to do. So now you're looking around saying, well, How about Mangiapane in a second?
Yeah. Yeah. I think the salary cap would be pretty close, like Mangiapane down and a player up. But I tried to call it up quick. I'm not functioning well enough right now to do it. But I do think from a cap perspective that it would be doable. I also think you just let those two guys cook in the minors right now. Right, Hudson and Howard, they're putting up tons of points. I think you just let things get sorted out up here. You let those guys cook, and then maybe you look at bringing them up after the Olympic break, something like that, and see after 2.5 months of excelling down there what they're ready to come and do at this level. Interesting post-game comments last night from Chris Knobloch. Healthy scratch Mangiapane the other day, and then Chris Knobloch doesn't throw players under the bus for the most part. And I'm not going to say that's what he did with Mangiapane last night, but he certainly didn't back him. And he made some comments that definitely raised our eyebrows. Here's Chris Knobloch.
Yeah, it looks like we need him playing in the top 6. I think just
That's on Roslovic.
Having him up there and being a little more dangerous, giving Leon a little more support, I think that's important. As much as we want to get a third line and get something rolling there, I think, having your best players supported with good players, I think is something that we have to look at. And, I think in the third period, Roslovic had some really good looks with Leon. And, they were, I think, moving forward, that's probably something we need to do.
So wasn't entirely in that clip there, but he also added post-game last night talking about Mangiapane. I mean, he basically said Roslovic's a better player. He was hard on Mangiapane in the post-game comments last night. Brownie, what did you take from all that?
Surprised. I was surprised when he need him to play with good players. You don't usually hear slips like that. We know that Roslovic's a better player than Mangiapane, and the stats show it. You usually don't hear it come out of the coach's mouth. Now, I don't think he meant to be dismissive, but I think he's probably frustrated with the play of Mangiapane. He was giving him Strud, you don't get a better opportunity than going from the press box to, okay, you're going to play Leon tonight. That should have been Mangiapane's best game of the year. And again, plays die on him. So I was a little surprised by the comments, but in all honesty, everything he said was true.
Yeah, and just to go back to one of your points, Shog, you say, you give the Oilers time to sort this out on the third line and leave the two young guys down there. It's not getting sorted out. I think everyone in that building's taken a shift on the third line, including Bob Stauffer, and there's nothing there. Nothing's happening. It's just, and I feel badly to say it, but the 6 players I have, they're not one of them you can start a third line with. I wanted to be Frederick, and it's not there. It's not there right now. So that's, I'd almost look at giving Curtis Lazar a chance there, because everyone else has had a chance at it, and he's pretty responsible. He works hard. He retrieves pucks. Does he make as many plays like Brownie talks about? No, but you need a little bit of push. So I think he's the only guy who hasn't got a chance in that bottom 6 to play in the third line.
Yeah. If it's not Nuge, the player doesn't exist on this team to be that third line center. If it's not Nuge. Oh, now you're looking for a first or second line winger. Okay, this show is a mess because we've only got Brownie for another 15 minutes. I made all kinds of promises about what we're going to get done. So Zuby, you're just going to have to roll with me here, buddy. We're going to get to takeaways right now because we need to talk about Team Canada. That's brought to you by Shandos Construction. They don't just hire talent, they invest in it. 100% employee owned. So when their people grow, the whole company grows right along with them. Ready to build something that really matters? Apply now at shandos.com/apply. So the roster drops yesterday. Lots of debate, lots of discussion all day long. I wanted to have it quickly with you guys here. Zuby, go ahead and throw up the roster. Brownie, I will start with you. What do you think about the decisions made, and what on here, if anything, surprised you? What's the talking point as a result of all this?
Okay, nothing surprises me in net. I said I wouldn't have Binnington, but we knew he was going to be there. So nothing surprises me in net. I went with the exact same 8 defensemen. I thought it was silly if they changed any of the defensemen. Although in that lineup, I have Drew Doughty in my top 6. You brought him because of what he does in the veteran leadership. He's playing to start the tournament. Up front, the only question I had was I would have had Sam Bennett. I mean, you saw what he did in the Four Nations. You saw how good he was in the playoffs. He's actually, after a slow start, he's on pace for career highs. I would have had him probably ahead of Cirelli. And in the lineups that I don't know did you make these lines up? Because in these lines, I have Mitch Marner with Connor McDavid. I have Mark Stone playing with Nick Suzuki, and I have Braden Point out of the lineup. He's only in it because he was named in the top 6. But as far as the team, the only question I would have had Sam Bennett in it, and probably instead of Anthony Cirelli.
Yeah, I can't really argue through there. I'm pretty much the same as you, Brownie. Everything you just mentioned, and I think that these lines are going to fluctuate a bit as people kind of find their groove. I think the D are more settled, and I'd like to see Drew Doughty in as well. The problem is, Parayko and Doughty are very different players, and those are the guy. That's the guy you take out to put in. Like, you're not taking Shea Theodore out, Taves, Morrissey, Makar. So Sanheim, I guess you're gonna have 2 righties. I don't know. So I too would like to see Doughty in there, but it's just a different feel compared to Parayko. Big body.
I think Sanheim can play both sides too, which is probably part of the reason why they, they want a guy that's versatile that can move back and forth. Brownie, I'm with you on Bennett. So this is the thing. I think in some ways they kind of speak out of both sides of their mouth with this decision, right? So on the one hand, you go Jordan Binnington. Never mind his season. He was so good in the Four Nations final. Not even the whole Four Nations. He was so good in the Four Nations final. Not only is he going to be on the team, but he's in the discussion to be Canada's Olympic starter. So he gets the benefit of the doubt because of his performance in that final. What about Sam Bennett? Sam Bennett was one of their best players in that final, scored a goal, was huge for them, got elevated up in the lineup, then only went on to win a Stanley Cup, win a Conn Smythe, score 15 playoff goals, and is having a good year. It is mind-numbing to me that Sam Bennett got passed over on this team. And if reporting is accurate out there, Friege and some of our guys were talking about it, Dregs and company, if it came down to Cooper taking Cirelli instead of Sam Bennett, man, that is a head-scratcher for me. Like, my goodness, leaving him off this team and taking Binnington, wow.
I agree. I said before, I wouldn't have had Binnington based on how he's played the last 2 years. And again, he wasn't great in the Four Nations. He had a good third or final, incredible overtime. But he's having a horrible season this year again. Bennett, all he does is win and show up in big moments. So that is the one that absolutely shocked me, that Sam Bennett wasn't on the team. Now, we don't get to see out East as often. And I don't know the analytics about Cirelli penalty killing opposed to Bennett or whatever it might be. I know there's a trust factor with John Cooper, but one of those players is a third-line player for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the other player is the reigning Conn Smythe trophy winner and big-time goal scorer from Four Nations. There's no comparison. Sam Bennett is on my team. And not only is he on my team, he's ahead of other guys, not just Cirelli. He's probably ahead of other guys. So shocking, Struds, that he's not there.
Yeah. I would have had him ahead of Suzuki as well, if you want to know the truth.
Probably.
And he just brings a different element. Now, Suzuki he's a good player, and it's tough. It's a tough choice.
Yes.
But, even just looking like, okay, if you want to take Cirelli, it's Suzuki. That's the guy. Like, he's good, but is he not? I think I'd rather have Sam Bennett in the heat of the moment.
Couple of other quick thoughts here. Let's talk about the Oiler content. Nugent Hopkins, we talked about the need for significant even strength scoring for him to be on that team. Nugent's had a good year. Not quite enough at even strength, I would say, to be there and a secondary guy for sure, but he was, I would assume, somewhat in the mix. Zach Hyman is an interesting one. You feel for Hyman, guys, because I can't help but think, like, that injury has cost Zach Hyman so much. Might have cost him a Stanley Cup. I mean, if he plays in that final, who knows? Cost him a Stanley Cup final. Probably cost him a spot on the Olympic team, because if Zach Hyman would have had a full runway like everybody else, he might have been a no-brainer. That's how good he's been this year. He might have been an absolute lock by this time if he'd have been playing all year, Brownie.
Well, first, there's 10 players that you could take in the NHL that aren't on the team. You could put them on the team, and you could say, yeah, makes sense. That's how deep Canada is. Hyman had a slow start last year, cost him a Four Nations chance. Second half of the season, he was better than a lot of those players, but he had a slow start. And then the injury this year, and you said it best, runway. He didn't have enough runway. He was starting. He had to go by a bunch of other players who had already had good years, had 4 nations on their resume. So it was a tough sled for him. Is Hyman good enough to be there? Yes. Would the Team Canada benefit from Zach Hyman? 100%. And in a perfect world, if he is healthy, he probably makes the team, Struds. I'm a huge Hyman fan. He brings everything that you want in a Team Canada player. But as Rishaug said, Struds, injuries have cost him major opportunities.
Yeah, an instant chemistry with 97, right? That makes a difference because then you have Crosby, McKinnon, he and McDavid, and then Makar and Taves. That's 3 sets of guys that be on the ice all the time. But when the insiders aren't even whispering your name, like that to me, like I didn't even think he'd be on the team. Same with Nuge, Bouchard, like so. And not that those guys are good or bad guys. They just they say what they're hearing. And I didn't hear one of those guys mention Zach Hyman, not once.
Yeah. Yeah, I know I was asking around too and checking in here and there. And yeah, that name, it didn't have enough time to get to the forefront. McDavid even said he came back early, maybe earlier than he should have to try and get himself in the mix. So understandable. Okay, lastly, just quick on Evan Bouchard. I think that the high level mistakes, I think definitely cost him. There were a lot of nights where we knew Team Canada brass was in the building, and there were some big ones. I think Bouchard could play on this team. I really do. But they're not going to lose the gold medal, Brownie, because they don't have enough offense from the blue line. Right? This team has enough offense. And I think Bouchard's penchant to make the big mistake, coupled with the fact that this team has an embarrassment of riches up front, I just don't – I can understand why they did what they did. Now – Harley's not having a great year, and there's some loyalties at play there, but I think Bouchard was close, but I get it. Do you get it, Brownie?
I do. I said all along. I remember last year we were talking about 4 nations in Olympics, and I told you I didn't have Bouchard on either of those teams. Just it is when you get into those moments, it's one game and you're done. And every game in 4 nations, every game in the Olympics will be close, no matter who you play. You might a 1-goal game. You can't afford that one big mistake. They went safe. All the players are great that are going, but they don't have the highs and the lows that an Evan Bouchard has. His highs are as good as anyone in the team on the back end, but his lows, that's what they're afraid of. And they're like, you know what? We are going to score goals. We don't have a problem, but we can't afford to lose 3-2 to the Americans in the semifinal because of a big mistake. So that, to me, Struds, is why he's not there. He is prone at times to a big mistake. If this is a best-of-7 tournament, Evan Bouchard's on my team. In a sudden death tournament, Evan Bouchard's not.
The problem they have is if Makar goes down, there's not a natural power play guy at the top of his game there right now. Like, it's not Doughty anymore. It's not Morrissey's not the same. Taves is the same. But it's not the same.
Like Theodore,
right? It's not, yeah, but look at Team USA. Adam Fox might not be on that team because they have so many amazing dynamic points. So if Quinn Hughes goes down, they got a lineup of guys. So that's the one thing that I'd be worried about, and they didn't bring Evan for that.
Yeah, I'm not worried about your power play. I'm not worried about the Team Canada power play with Makar or not. I'm sorry.
Let's go 5 forwards. Honto Mo says, doesn't Bouchard's playoff performance prove he can be in big games? Like, I don't understand. Here's the thing. In a playoff series, you can make a big mistake in game 1 and game 3, and you still have more cushion. You still have more padding. You can be amazing in game 5, 6, and be the best player in game 7. You can find your game within a playoff series. You can make big mistakes, and it doesn't cost you the series. You get into these Olympics, and you're in a quarterfinal, and you make a bad mistake at the wrong time, and your tournament's over. Like, it is immediate, right? So it's a little bit different. Brownie's points about the lows being so low. You hit that low at the wrong moment. And I think it's a little bit different in a short tournament like this. We're running out of time. We got to get to Brownie Points, our first one of 2026. Brought to you by the Alberta Ram dealers. Get 10 years of built-in confidence at your Alberta Ram dealer with Canada's best full-size truck, limited powertrain warranty. Every new 2026 Ram truck comes with a 10-year, 160,000-kilometer warranty. Check out your Ram dealer today. Brownie, turning over a new leaf with these Brownie Points. Going to be a little more generous with the coworkers. I feel it.
Let me take a look. No, I'm not. I got minus 793 brownie points.
Wow.
To the combination of Oilers defensive play and goaltending. The Oilers have been leaking grade A chances since the Christmas break, and good to great goaltending masked the problems a little bit in games 1 and 2. But last night we saw that the Oilers, what they had early in the year, average goaltending behind poor defensive play leads to 6 goals against and a 793 save percentage. Last night was on both the goaltender and the defensive play in front of him. I got 2 brownie points to the Oilers' second power play unit that rarely sees the ice, and most people probably couldn't name half of them. But in the last 2 games, the second unit has scored in each game, both by Jack Roslovic. Last night's game goal by Roslovic right after the power play had ended, but it was that group that was out there. This is a group that averages about 20 seconds a game on the power play. Good for them. They've shown that they're capable of scoring if given the opportunity. Jason Strudwick says, play the second unit time and time again. I got
They
2
started
brownie
one
points.
later in the game, Brownie. Hey, they started a power play later in the game after scoring 2, right? We never see that.
No, actually, at that point, I'd given up. I was texting, didn't notice. I've got 2 brownie points to Chris Knobloch for ending the experiment of Jack Roslovic playing center on the third line. The Oilers have been desperately looking for a scoring winger for Leon for as long as he's been here, and when they finally have one fall into their lap, they experiment with him playing at center on the third line. Jack Roslovic should have his name written in permanent marker on the coach's whiteboard, just so Chris Knobloch realizes where Roslovic should be. I got minus 731 brownie points. I'm saving a lot of brownie points here, Shogger. You're going to be getting something at some point this season, I hope. I got minus 731 brownie points to Andrew Mangiapane's trial run on Leon's line last night. Mangiapane went from the press box to the second best position in the NHL, playing alongside the world's best passer. It lasted 3 shifts. Only fourth liner Max Jones played less than Mangiapane's 7.5 minutes last night. The Oilers were hoping for a top 6 winger when they signed Mangiapane to a 2-year, $7.2 million contract. It's looking like the Washington Capitals knew what Mangiapane was when he was playing on their fourth line. And finally, I've got 2,012. Sorry, I've run out of your brownie points. I'm giving them all away right here, Shogger. Sorry. I've got 2,025 brownie points to the Edmonton Oilers for an absolutely incredible 2025. Of course, there were disappointments when the Oilers lost Game 6. But Oilers fans have had an amazing roller coaster ride watching the 2 world's best players on a nightly basis, watching their superstars score the game winner in the 4 Nations, cheer their team to 14 playoff wins, and anybody that spends time in Edmonton during the months of April, May, and June, which are the best months to be here, realize the importance of this team to this city. Only one team enjoyed more success in 2025 than the Edmonton Oilers, so it has been a fantastic year. And here's hoping that 2026 is 2 wins better. And those today are your brownie points.
You know, you end on a high note, but holy snap, did you come out swinging. Minus 793, your first brownie points of the season?
That was a save percentage last night for the Oilers goalie. And then 731, I think, is what I took away from Mangiapane. That was his ice time.
Man.
You wake up in the morning thinking you're going to play on Leon's line. I'm getting my chance, second line. And at the end of the night, you played 7.5 minutes. Things did not go right for you.
Yeah, good point. All right, Brownie, we got to let you go because you are going to go spend some family time, which is fantastic. Happy for you. You get to go see Ben. You going to see the play again?
I'm going to take my father to the play tomorrow. So, yes, I'm pretty excited. It's the last 10 days of his run. So I'm pretty excited to get out and see my whole family out in Vancouver.
Say hi to Mr. Brown. Mr. Brown,
you.
say hi to him for me.
I will say hi to Mr. Brown. He did say that Struds was one of his favorite players that he ever was the GM of. He said he turned that play. He goes, when I got him, he was nothing, and I turned him into an NHL player.
He cut me. 16 years old. He broke my heart, sent me packing from Blazer camp that year. I walked up to the door, and he
has an eye for talent.
Poked his head in the door.
And an eye for a lack of talent. He's got an eye for
one of his best moves there.
Brownie, quickly, what's your New Year's resolution for the show? I asked you guys. New Year's resolution for the show, buddy. What do you got?
I will whether I agree with you or not, I will publicly on air agree with something you say. I know in 2025 there were times that I did agree with you, but those were moments where Struds and I talked before the show and you said Shogger's struggling. Can you just, I know you're going to think I'm right, but can you just pretend that Shoggy's right? But this year, I am going to find something that you say to be correct, and I will say it on air. You know what, Shogger? You are right. So that is my New Year's resolution.
Wow.
That's brutal, dude. That's brutal.
It's crazy. That seems impossible.
So bad. I hope your flight gets delayed. Oh, no, I don't.
Are there 700 days in this year?
All right, Brownie, get out of here, buddy. Go have some family time, you smart ass, and we'll chat after the game on Saturday, pal.
Sounds good. Happy New Year's, everybody.
All right, Happy New Year, Brownie. Love you, buddy. Great stuff. All right, Rob Brown. Well, this was the most mucked up first segment in Got Your Back history, Struds. We have bounced all over. I normally have an order we go in.
Right.
This next segment is going to be a dog's breakfast. I make no promises about the quality of this next segment, but that one we just gave you, that sucked up most of the quality that this show is going to have. So stay with us. We still have lots of content, Zuby, but I have no idea what we have left. I have no idea what we should do next. We're just going to produce this thing in the break.
Yeah. Take a moment in the break here, and we'll get it all on track. We'll come up with something.
All right. We'll be right back.
For over 60 years, Belvedere Golf and Country Club has delivered a high-quality membership experience to Edmonton and area. And now it's even better. Drainage and irrigation improvements in 2024 have taken course conditions to a new level. This commitment to long-term sustainability means exceptional playing conditions all season long. Belvedere's tee sheet availability is unmatched, so join now and experience golf the way it was meant to be played, on your schedule. Visit BelvedereGCC.com today.
Riverside Motorsports is your ultimate multi-brand dealer. With a massive lineup of motorcycles, ATVs, side-by-sides, snow bikes, e-bikes, and snowmobiles, all under one roof. With Alberta's best selection, a huge parts and accessories inventory, and a fully certified service department, Riverside has everything you need to ride. Family owned and serving Edmonton for over 55 years. See what they have to offer in-store just off St. Albert Trail or online at riversidemotorsports.com.
Sounds like Shogger needs to call HSE Core Services to get the show straightened out. I do. Tom Lesko. Do you manage that? Yeah, call Tommy. When you're done beating the wheels off Struddy on the tennis court, come and straighten me out because we are messy today. But it's a morning after New Year's show. It is what it is. Zuby, what did I say we were going to do? I forget.
I think you said storyline first.
Storyline.
Anyway. Yes. Let's get to our storylines. Brought to you by Play Alberta. Casino winners every hour. Jackpots worth millions and revenue that stays in the province. Never been a better time to sign up. Right now, you can get a $50 free bet when you make a $50 deposit with the code GYB50. That is code GYB50. Zuby, the storyline that you put out yesterday had a little to do with the guys that did not make the Olympics, the Canadian Olympic team. What was it again? You parlayed a bunch of Bouchard, Nugent Hopkins, and Hyman stuff?
It was 1 or more points for Zach Hyman and 2 or more points for Evan Bouchard. So Zach came through for us. Evan, not so much. But it was just thinking the thought that sometimes the guys who get quote unquote snubbed might come out and have a bit of a show me game. And that's what we were thinking about.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, and reminder, keep an eye on our social media platforms on show days. We're going to release a betting line through Play Alberta that we think is related to an interesting story, and you can take the action or not or whatever. But I think that was a good one to go with yesterday, Struds. The conversation point from that is how players will react to this happening. So let's go through each of them real quick. How do you see Evan Bouchard reacting to, not being on the Four Nations team, not being on the Olympic team? Probably was the closest of the other Oilers, I would think. Yeah. How do you think it affects this guy, or does it?
Yeah, you know what? I'll say this. I think he's very close to making it if there's an injury. I really do. I'll double down on my power play thing. I think it's important to have a backup in there. So I think he needs to stay ready and keep his game at a level. But I think he's fine. I don't think Evan doesn't really seem to get rattled by too much, and I think if there are years ahead where he may be a guy that gets in, compared to a Nuge and a Hyman, they're further down the road on their careers. I have a hard time envisioning 4 years from now those guys are still playing at this great level they are, and I hope they are. But I just think it'd be more disappointment for those two because it's like, okay, what does this mean now? Like, are we ever going to get a chance to represent our country? And both guys are very deserving. Like, they're both really good players. But you're talking about the best 14 forwards in Canada. Specific roles within those things, right? Also specific roles. I think of the two of those guys, I think Hyman was closer than Nuge because of the chemistry he has with the big guy.
And let's not forget, I believe the schedule is going to be every 2 years. There's a World Cup type event as well.
Yeah, fair point.
Best on best. So maybe, I mean, we'll see where Hyman's level is at. I think Nugent Hopkins was probably a long shot, but every time I heard Zach Hyman talk about this, it amazes me. Like, he's so classy about it, and Nuge was too, and Bush will be too. But Hyman is just so positive, Struds. Like, I don't know if you heard his interview, the morning that the team was announced, and he just talked about what an honor it was to be at the summer camp, and he talked, and I'm thinking, man, we talked about it earlier in the show. Like, that injury took so much from this guy, yet he's so positive, and he's just the right guy. I still shake my head at the idea that Toronto Maple Leafs ever evaluated this player and said, there's a guy we don't need or isn't worth this much or that much. On the ice, off the ice, either one of those elements, and he's worth whatever he was going to have to make there. Crazy.
Yeah, the Leafs have 4 top 6 forwards right now, 4. And you can't tell me Hyman couldn't be the 5th. You know what I mean? Like, Matthews needs someone to play with. I can't imagine they didn't think Matthews was a guy to play with him. But, I'm not here to beat up on Leafs fans every day. But, you are. He just, you're probably right. But he's an amazing person, and the Oilers are lucky to have him on the team. And, he would have been a great addition to Team Canada. But we're talking, like I said, the best 14. That's incredible. It's so hard to even be considered.
Okay, let's crunch some numbers from last night's game, courtesy our friends at Sport Logic. They always do a great job breaking down the statistics. And Crunching the Numbers is brought to you by McDonald's. Veggie lovers rejoice. I'm one of them. Your days of searching and scanning the menu are over. Why? The McVeggie has arrived at McDonald's. More than a sandwich, an iconic flavor moment. And best of all, it's here for good. So stop by, try the McVeggie and the Spicy McVeggie today. It's a new era for veggie lovers. Only at McDonald's. You know what? I might have to go give that a rip today. I think today is the day to go give the McVeggie a rip, Struds. I don't feel like cooking. I'm sure Randy doesn't either. Kids are all sleeping in and doing their own thing. I'm thinking McVeggie for lunch.
Yeah, there'll be a trip there for sure. The Golden Archers will see this beautiful face. Okay, let's get at this. So earlier in the show, I said I kind of changed my mind as I slept on it tonight. And when you review this, it's not as the goal. This game was one-sided, but the chances weren't one-sided. So there we go. High danger scoring chance. Oilers had 16. The Bruins only 13. Not a crazy number. Not like what we saw when they played against Dallas and got pounded. Zone possession time. Oilers possessed, a minute and a half, 2 minutes more than them in the puck in the offensive zone. Turnover scoring chances. Again, only 9 for Boston. This wasn't like a 15 performance for Boston. And then the puck battle. The Oilers won a lot of the battles. I'm going to double down on my comment. The Oilers weren't able to convert their chances. The Bruins were. And that was the difference in the game, guys.
Yeah, no, I like that. And I think, it hasn't been great since the break for the Oilers, but it is important to dig in a little bit more. I was thinking about that Calgary game, too, the return matchup. We did talk about luck. I mean, I think there were 4 or 5 posts that night. So it's not like they were terrible. And again, last night, same thing. They bury a couple of those, and it's a different story. But I do think, I like Brownie's points about the defending in general, Struds. A lot of what you're talking about is some offense and chances and stuff like that. Like, they definitely aren't defensively where they were before. They're not clicking in the same way, and that's probably where their game has fallen off the most. Is that fair?
It is. But I mean, here's a good line from the Panda, Knockout Panda. Those are a lot closer than I thought they would be. Those are the numbers he's talking about. And I agree. I think, now you look at some other metrics, the Oilers really had a lot more chances than Boston, right? Depending on who you believe. So, early in the game, if Connor or some of his buddies convert a couple of those, that 2-1 game's maybe a 2-2. Power play goes 0 for 5. Yes, could they clean it up? For sure. You take away the Middlestat goal, boom, it's 5-2. Take away the goal off, I think it was Lindholm, off the glove, it's 4-2. The Oilers are able to convert, and maybe take away the one where you have one of the best goal scorers in the world walking in with his stick in the air and pound it. Now it's 3-2. Can the Oilers not find a couple extra goals? So yeah, it goes both ways. I don't think you can have the conversation about defending without being, better finishing. So that doesn't allow them off defensively, but there was a path to a win last night as opposed to what we saw when the Oilers got spanked 8-3. There was no path to victory. They could have played 2,000 minutes. They were losing that game.
Yeah. We talk about the Regula slide. What'd you think of the Regula slide? I watched it a couple times this morning.
Yeah.
What'd you think on the 2-on-1? I know you're you're pro slide.
I have become pro slide, but I also mentioned the timing of the slide matters. He slides right through it. And in fact, the puck is laying right in front of him. Probably could have got his arm out there and touched it, but it's a 3 or 4-on-1. So I'm not putting this all on Regula, right? But the timing of the slide.
I actually didn't mind it.
Yeah, I think he could have waited an extra second because when you slide, you don't want the player cutting back. Like you don't want him going across with a pass or with his body, and Pasta finds a way through there. But he bought himself some time. He bought guys time. But a 4-on-1 or 3-on-1, whatever it was, yeah. I mean, you can't put it all on Regula for that one.
No, I'm not at all. I'm actually, because we were talking about it in our group chat last night, and I took another look at it today, and Strud's like, I don't know. If you're going to slide, is it your fault if you slide right kind of past should your slide stop before you get to your goaltender? Or is it his fault that they held onto the puck a little longer? Like, I'm looking at when he went down. Pasternak is ready. He's cocked and ready to fire that thing from the top of the hash at the circle there. He is clearly blocking the pass. I don't know that he's down too soon here. Like, are you taking a look at? I'm not convinced he's down too soon. And I think it's not his fault. I mean, he reached out. It's a great curl and drag from Pasternak, but he took that pass away.
Yeah.
I'm kind of feeling like he needs help. Look at him. He's the only guy. Nurse's feet are standing still. I don't know.
Yes. So I think when I make the call that he went down too early, it's the fact that he allowed the player to go across the middle of the ice. You've got to keep that person on the one side of the ice. Again, it's a 2, 3-on, 4-on-1, whatever it is. Like, you can't put it all on him, but if you're going to drop, I think you could have waited an extra second, because Pasternak cuts straight across the ice, knowing that the player is going down, to create some problems for Regula and his buddies. So I think it's just too much. Like, it was essentially a 4-on-1.
It's crazy. Yeah. Mangiapane standing there after it's in the net, just like, yeah, that was an ugly. It was a bad look for Regula, but I'm actually reasonably good. I think he defended as well as anybody else on that play.
He tried to buy time. Right? He tried to slow it down. Yeah. But I mean, it's Pasternak, so I'm not going to beat him up for that. Like, it's a really good player that has the puck on his stick. That's not Aspero who scores the goal. You know what I mean? Or that had the puck. It was Pasta.
Okay, that was crunching the numbers. Let's get to our Relentless Player, brought to you by UCAN Youth Services and Edmonton Charity Relentless, and helping 16 to 24-year-olds step out of harm's way and into meaningful work. Make that change today, right here at home. Visit ucan.ca. Who were you going to go with tonight, or from last night, Struds?
Yeah, I'm going to give Swayman. Swayman had a good game, right? 34 saves,
call.
36 shots. He was one of the difference makers in this. I would say that the difference makers, Pasternak, the Bruins penalty kill, and Swayman. Those are the three groups of people and or individuals that led the team to the win last night.
Yeah, no, I definitely think he was good. He made some high caliber saves. Anytime you get 17 shots coming at you from those two, and you largely keep them off the board, you've done a pretty good job. So yeah, I think that's a good Relentless Player from last night. By the way, did you notice Zadorov shoot the puck at Bouchard after he took the penalty? Was it just me, or should that have been a 5? Should that have been a 4 minute? Like, he shot it at him. He's sitting on the ground. You can't do that.
He's so annoying, that guy. Like he's really got that villain thing going, right? And even when he's challenging Janmark at the end, like I just, I mean, you hate it because it's not on your team, but you'd love it if it was on your team, right?
Oh, man.
I think it's great. He's a big, strong man, and he kind of just bullies people around. So it annoys me, but it annoys me because I really like it. If my team did it,
Yeah, he's one of those guys, and I mean, he'll take on anybody. Like I think for the most part, he doesn't necessarily duck guys. He's out there looking for it, and I think probably he's one of those guys that has trouble finding them. Struds.
yeah. But the good thing is that whether or not you want it, he's coming at you. He's physical. He's in your face. Like he's really kind of found that physical prick mode, right? Like he really isn't fun to play against. And he goes out of his way to look for it. Like even at the end of the game, they're winning. He's going after Janmark, and Janmark's the one who started. He's like, all right, let's do it. Like drop the gloves, going after him, right? I like that. Like when I think of Mangiapane or Frederick, and not that they're as big as him, but you can be that way and engage people constantly. He's relentless when he does it.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, Zuby, why don't you hop on in here, buddy? We've neglected the DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center YouTube poll. We normally don't let it go this late in the show. It's a new year, which means it's time for a new you on the golf course. Make more birdies on the course in 2026 with the help of Scotty and TJ at DeBoer's. Skip the diet and get fit for your new golf equipment. It's way easier to stick to your golf goals than it is to eating salads. I would agree with this. Schedule your fitting today. Visit DeBoersGolf.com or go chat with the team in the shop about your golf goals for 2026. Golf goals. That's something I think we should do before the end of the night tonight as well. Golf goals, Struddy. Zuby, what do we got, bud?
The DeBoer's Golf Shop and Fitting Center YouTube poll today is, what should the Edmonton Oilers' New Year's resolution be collectively?
Ooh, I like it.
The choices are start on time. Second choice is better puck management. Third choice is set lines and roll them. And the fourth choice is be more physical. And the fifth option was going to be wear the third jerseys every game. But I didn't get much love for that on the last time I put it in a poll. So those are our four.
Struddy, you got a favorite there?
I'm going to say set the lines. Just roll with your lines. And that's been something I've been championing pretty much all year. Stick with your lines and then play them. Play them, although they have 2 fourth lines. So maybe don't play them as much, I guess.
Well, you want to set their lines and stick with them, but you've been advocating for them to take their top 6 winger and throw them at center in the middle, which just jumbles the lines up entirely and misplaces guys.
Well, those are 2 different conversations, right? One, I'm saying set the lines and play it. And another one, I'm saying you got to build a third line. So whether or not you want to set the third line or not, you still have to roll the lines, right? So they're 2 separate combos, I think, in there.
It's got to be getting frustrating for Draisaitl, I would think. Like he's like, I mean, McDavid gets Nugent Hopkins and Hyman.
Yeah.
And Draisaitl is just like this mixed bag next to him all the time. He's like the experimental guy. Hey, this guy might be a top 6 forward. Here you go, Leon. This guy's not a top 6 forward. See if you can make him one. Here you go, Leon. Hey, this guy has been terrible lately, but we need to give him a boost. Here you go, Leon. You know what I mean? That's got to get old at a certain point.
Yeah, I could see that being frustrating. But also, within the bigger context of being a team player, like trying to understand what the coach's goals are. You have a void in the third line. And I'm not going to get off this. Just like you were with the physicality last year, this third line's a big issue. It's because I think about when I would play. If I was playing against the Oilers, I wouldn't play against the top 2 lines, but I'd play against the bottom 2. I'm like, I know I'm better than those 2 lines. I'm going to shut these guys down. I'm going to have my way with them because there's not a lot of pushback. There's not a lot of offense. Like, this is a fun night to play against the Oilers because there's nothing there, right? It just isn't. And it's all because they don't have a third line center. Once they get that, everything will fit in place. And I'm sure Stan already knows that. I mean, we just heard the coach talk about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the play of Stastny has me believing that a depth defenseman, like a 5 might be okay, Struds, just to insulate you in terms of injury. Yeah. I don't think they need to go get a 3 or a 4. I think Stastny is a 5 right now. He's probably their 3rd best defenseman right now. But I think that has worked out extremely well. And I think Bowman should get a lot of credit, and his pro scouting staff, a lot of credit for mitigating the loss of Kulak with this player that they've found. But the pro scouting staff on a lot of what's gone on up front has cost them, and bringing the wrong guys in. And so you got to have some wins. You're going to have some losses. And we've seen both here on, between the forwards and the blue line.
Yeah, and listen, Stan's trying to turn this lineup over and get younger, and he has to. Yeah, and I get it. Like I totally agree with everything he's trying to do. Now, every move maybe it hasn't worked out, but I agree with what his plan is. Now, can he find a third line center similar way? Is there a guy, in the minors that he can find that could come in and play? I mean, that's a pretty tall order, especially for a third round pick like they got Stastny for, but. Maybe there is a guy. I don't know. I don't follow every AHL team, but I know that that's an area that I would be solely focused on that before anything else, because it's right now there's nothing there.
Especially when you look at last year's Cup final and the third line they were playing against, how good that third line was, how much of a difference they were able to make.
Yeah. Well said.
Anything, Zuby? You're nodding like a madman there, Zuby. I feel like you want in.
Well, no, that was just my exact thought. And there was even some discussion on this show about whether or not third lines mattered in the, whether or not a third line was going to matter when we were kind of approaching playoffs last year. And I think Struddy was kind of ringing the same bell. And then you saw how important the Panthers third line turned out to be. And then when the Oilers, was it 2 years ago when like partway through the playoffs, the Oilers third line really found success? Was that Henrique, Janmark, and Connor Brown? Was that the line?
Yeah, I feel like it was. Yeah.
2 years ago, but that was, Henrique 2 years ago. And, I think they've been looking to duplicate that, right? Struddy, get back to that in some way.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, like Henrique's been a great Oiler, and he's been a good third line center. I feel right now he's a fourth line center. And so, and you need to find a third line center. But it's, there's really nowhere to go. There's no really conversation anymore until that's dealt with, because there's no internal solutions if you keep the top six as they are. And I think you should, because those top six are going to win you a lot of games.
Zuby, we got one more break or two more breaks left in this show? I've completely lost track.
Two. We're in segment 2 here.
We're in segment 2. Okay, but we're pretty deep into the show. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to ask everybody to be patient with us. Can you combine the 2 commercial breaks? Let's get them done.
Sure, because one's short anyway.
We're going to push with a whole bunch of great content after that. So we got Struddy's World still. We got Take a Lap still. We got Ask Us Anything as well. And we got our New Year's resolutions for the show. So lots of good content ahead. Stay with us. We'll be right back here on Got Your Back.
So at Timberhouse, our guiding philosophy is naturally inspired living. We believe that through design, we can solve problems and enhance people's lives. We follow biophilic design principles in all of our builds to incorporate natural materials, natural light, to enhance all the spaces in a home. When you have your space perfectly reflect who you are and what you value, and it's made well, we think that that just leads to better living.
At Modern Measure, every item of clothing starts from scratch and is designed from the ground up, based on both your style preferences and current fashion trends. Their clothing is fully designed to give you the exact look you're looking for, down to the smallest details and customization. The Modern team will work with you to make sure that you not only look and feel great, but make the most of your investment. On the ground floor of Edmonton Tower downtown, Modern Measure.
Why would you? Nobody puts in wood windows or siding anymore, so why put in wood fences? Maintenance-free vinyl fence from DLR is backed by a lifetime warranty and will save you time. Weekends are for playing, not painting. Go vinyl at dlrvinylproducts.ca.
Wrapping it up.
This is appropriate. Our Stranger Things Got Your Back music. Stranger Things finale last night was a big deal in my house. Randine, her girls, had the decorations, had the baking, the whole bit. You have any Stranger Things going on in your houses, boys?
Oh, yeah. My younger son loves it. Loves it.
We only watched the first season. We're way behind.
All right, rolling right along here on Got You Back. Time for Take a Lap, brought to you by Riverside Motorsports, your multi-brand motorsports dealer serving Edmonton for over 55 years. That is longevity right there. Wide variety of new and pre-owned motorcycles, ATVs, side-by-sides, snow bikes, e-bikes, and snowmobiles from industry-leading brands. Check them all out online, www.riversidemotorsports.com. I'm not sure, Struds, if you're planning on talking World Juniors in Take a Lap, but we probably should update everybody that Canada with the win and pushes through to their quarters.
Yeah, that's where I'm starting, actually. And they beat Finland 7-4, and they'll take on Slovakia in the quarters. And then if they win that, and the USA wins, they'll play USA in the semifinals, which is a bit of a downer for me. The Swedes beat the USA, and that kind of made that outcome possible. But I think what's important to note is that that's 2 games in a row now where the Canadians have really found their offensive mojo, and they hadn't had it, especially against Latvia, 2-1 win in overtime. So I think that, this group was built a lot of offensive mind, and they're finding their stride, and I would expect to continue against Slovakia Friday.
Just running down the quarterfinals, Canada, Slovakia, Finland, USA, Sweden, who's probably been the class so far, Latvia, Czechia, and Switzerland. So those are the 4 games. And then, as you say, potentially setting up Canada versus the United States. What else, pal?
Yeah, and then we'll just go right to the American Olympic team. They'll be announced tomorrow, but according to Emily Kaplan, who's a fairly connected insider for ESPN, she's saying that Keller from Utah, Thompson from Buffalo, and Seth Jones, the D-man from Florida, will be in for their group. So that means there'll be people coming out. So Seth Jones wasn't on the Four Nations team. It sounds like it could be Fox from the Rangers who's out, which is a pretty good D-man. I think he won a D-man of the Year award, but a Norris Trophy.
Did you same thing? Did you see Tage Thompson's snapshot last night?
Yeah, he's playing.
But did you see how hard that shot was? I think I saw online. I think it was a 92 mile per hour snapshot from the slot.
Oh, I didn't know it was that fast. Yeah.
Oh, buddy. It was an absolute rocket from the slot. So that he's gone beast mode here. And USA is going to be interesting, buddy. That blue line is something else.
Yeah, the blue line is very, very deep, and their net minders are good too. So I'll be interested to see that. This will be fun. It's coming up fast, guys. It's January, right? We're 5-6 weeks away from, you're leaving in like a week, in 4 weeks. And it's crazy actually that it's here. We've all been waiting for this.
Yeah.
It's here.
I know. It's a little batty. Like, I'm going on the 30th, and the hockey doesn't even start till like the 12th or something like that. Right. So we're going to be there 10, 12 days in advance. And I think it ends up being a 24-day trip total for Parker and I. So she's going to be a long one. But I've done this before, Struds, but it's been so long since we've had this best on best. And with all these guys doing this for the first time on this stage, this is rivaling Vancouver for me in terms of how fired up and excited I am to get there and cover this tournament.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. I think it's going to be a great tournament. I think we can all see what we want as a final. I mean, I can't see anyone else really pushing either of those teams, but that's why you play the games, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. All right, that was Taking a Lap, brought to you by Riverside Motorsports. Was lots of other action in the NHL last night, so let's roll through with our scoreboard, brought to you by The Bridge Fit. Whether you're aiming to stay pain-free or hit a new personal best as part of 2026 resolutions, the physio, chiro, massage therapists, and strength coaches at The Bridge are here to help, treating the communities of Edmonton, Sherwood Park, and Lethbridge. And the new St. Albert location opening this month. Check out thebridge.fit online and book your first session. What else happened last night, Struddy?
Well, the Oilers didn't win, but neither did the 2 teams that are chasing them for first in the Pacific. The Golden Knights lose 4-2 to the mighty Predators, who are starting to find their winning ways. Then the Lightning in OT beat the Ducks 4-3, so the Oilers are thankful to those groups. The Jets lose again, 2-1 to the Red Wings in not the most exciting game from what I kind of saw. The Sabres win their 10th in a row. That's right, 10th in a row, 31 shots, 4-1. They beat the Stars, a pretty good team. The Flames pull it out over the Flyers 5-1. The Flyers will be in Edmonton to take on the Oilers on Saturday afternoon. We'll have a podcast after that game, obviously. Then the Avalanche 6-1 over the Blues. And that's pretty interesting. What's interesting is the shots. 43 shots for the Avs, 13 for the Blues. Apparently that's counting warm-up. So the Blues had 13 shots counting warm-up. So
you know what's interesting about that matchup yesterday, Struts? That was Binnington versus Blackwood. Yeah. That was the guy that would have been on Team Canada had they not gone with Binnington, and he let in. It was 4-0 in the first period. I think on 9 shots or something like that.
Yeah, pretty crazy. But you get 13 shots, you could put a brick wall in there. You're not winning the game against Colorado. It's just not happening.
Definitely not all on Binnington. They're hanging him out to dry. And quickly on the Buffalo Sabres as well. Starting the new year in a playoff spot. Holy cow. Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. And here you are with the Edmonton Oilers in the Western Conference standings. A quick check in there. Oilers sitting atop the Pacific Division, 46 points. Point up on Vegas, although Vegas does have 3 games in hand. So Vegas actually has the better winning percentage. And Anaheim actually has a better winning percentage as well than the Oilers. But entering the new year, the most games played of those 3 teams, but leading the Pacific Division. That was our scoreboard brought to you by The Bridge Sports Therapy and Training. Okay, our first Struddy's World of 2026. Zuby, roll that animation for the first time.
When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here. Someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy.
Gotta look good.
It is time for Struddy's World, brought to you by Batty Realty at Royal LePage AR Team Realty. Buying a home's a big decision, and the team at Batty Realty guides clients through the complex process with expertise and care, providing unwavering support even after the keys are handed over. Visit BHATTIRealty.com. That's BattyRealty.com. Struds, what do we got today?
Ryan, I'm sorry. That's right. That's an apology for you. I've been taking more shots on you than Steph Curry from behind the three-point line. It's been wrong. Nay, it's been mean. And now it's finally caught up to me. Karma has caught up to me. I was making fun of you about your golf groin since you brought it up. Well, guess what? I've been cross-country skiing like crazy, back and forth all over the place the last couple of days, and my groins are tighter than a Ryan Rishaug skin-colored tracksuit. That is karma. I have struggled. I refuse to admit that, or I am here to let you know that I am wrong, and karma caught up with me, and now I'm suffering from the same thing, the tight groin, but I call it cross-country ski groin. So I apologize, buddy, to hopefully get this good karma back on my side.
Taking down the time. I know the date. Yeah. This is big.
It is.
This is big, yeah. Struds. You've just taken a lot of ammo out of your weapon that's normally pointed at me. Like the number of things you can no longer make fun of me for because of this Struddy's World.
Yeah.
That's half your material on me. It's gone.
It's really, I'll have to start preparing for the shows. I can't just wait for you to say something to me, counter punch you there. Like it's incredible. So I apologize. And this golf groin, or this cross-country ski groin, which I've called it.
Okay.
It's pretty serious.
Okay. So let's get going on your rehabilitation, right? So obviously you're going to go to the bridge, obviously. I recommend needling in the groin.
Sure.
I recommend twice a week, 7 to 11 minutes on the elliptical, right? You got to do a 55-minute stretch afterwards. Okay. I think you do Thursday, you focus on your calves. And I think if you stick with that consistently for 12 to 18 months, I think you're going to push through. It's the program I've been on, and it's going to be great for you, Struds. We can do this together. You can come over. And we'll do groin exercises together. Groin strengthening exercises together. This would be like a whole new friendship this year. This is going to be amazing. I got you, buddy. I got you.
Did you say 16 to 18 months? Subi?
I was exaggerating a little bit about that. But I'm saying we can work on this together. This can be a thing. We'll be closer. You're going to stop being mean to me. This is a whole new 2026 Zuby. I like the way this has gone.
I feel like maybe more moral support than actually groin exercises together. I don't know about the the sound or the optics of that. Also, Struddy, we got to come up with something. I'm renaming it XCS groin, cross country ski groin. Hard to say, doesn't roll off the tongue, no alliteration like golf groin.
That's
So
right.
I'm calling it XCS groin. But yeah, I'm glad we get this much groin talk on the show.
Joe Doak says our groins will grow closer.
Yeah.
Our groins have bonded us, Struds.
No.
We're experiencing groin bonding right now, buddy. I feel you. It's not comfortable. It's not great.
No, and I'll listen. In all seriousness, I have been cross country skiing because I want to get my whole body moving. And after the first day I went, my groin was so tight, and I'm like, I got to go again the next day. I got on the trail. I'm like, I don't think I can do this, but my ego's like, you've got to go. And it warmed up, but my right groin was so stiff. It was insane how tight it was. I could barely move out there, but God, it's crazy. Like Brownie on the dance floor, very stiff.
Getting old, big guy. You are getting old. Yeah, but go see the bridge. I was joking about that ridiculous routine, but they've done a lot of good work for me, helping me out with that, and it feels great. Played an awesome 30-some holes in the sim the other day. So golf groin is in full rehab mode. That was Struddy's World, brought to you by Batty Realty Group. This can be awesome, buddy. I'll text you. I can text you some of the exercises I do. We can do twice daily check-ins on how it's feeling. You just give me a rating. I'll text you, be like, where's it at? And you can text me 4 out of 10 or 6 out of 10 or whatever. We'll just keep in touch on it. We'll keep in touch on this.
Yeah, because I'm in the real world cross XCSing, as Zuby calls it. You're on the virtual machine called the elliptical, doing the same thing.
All righty. That was Struddy's World. Let's get to Ask Us Anything, shall we? It's been such a good stream today. We really appreciate everybody that has jumped on. Pretty good number, considering half the world is still sleeping and hungover. We're happy with the number today. There's going to be no judgment about the numbers. This was a decision that we made, and we appreciate everybody that got up early to join us. Ask Us Anything is brought to you by Mortgages by Maria, powered by Dominion Lending Centers, Maximal Mortgages. If your mortgage renewal is coming up, don't just sign the first thing your bank puts in front of you. With the right strategy, you can save thousands and make sure your money works harder for you, not for the bank. Get smarter options and expert advice. Mortgagesbymaria.ca. Oh, we forgot to wrap the poll too, Zuby. You want to do that?
Yeah, I had that up here. I can jump right to that really quickly. Yeah, this turned out really, really close. So the question today was, what should the Edmonton Oilers' New Year's resolution be? Coming in first place, set lines and roll them, but only 28%. That's how tight this was. 28% of the vote. That was the top vote getter. Start on time came in second, 26%. Better puck management third, 24%. Be more physical, 22%. That rolled in. That one was way down, rolled in late. So some people coming in, the late risers thought the team needed more physicality. So 2% difference from each one incrementally from 1 to 4. So very close. So I guess those are all on the radar of Oiler fan, but let's set lines and roll them is the number one.
All right. I love it. The people have spoken. They want what they want. What are the people saying, Zoobs?
Neil Garrity, among others, pointing out they haven't really liked what they've seen from Leon specifically since the break started. I'm sure Leon isn't happy with his own game right now. He couldn't make a tape-to-tape pass last night. It's usually his superpower. What are you guys seeing from 29 so far since the Christmas break, Struddy?
I think it's with all big men and really any player, when you're not moving your feet and you're kind of reaching for pucks, it's just harder. When he's skating, he's second best player in the world, and he hasn't been moving his feet as much. Yeah, there may be some fatigue or just rust coming off the Christmas break, but he'll find his game again. But I think just skating, moving would be a place to start to kind of find that high, super high level game that he carries most nights.
It's funny. It's not like the Christmas break was 8 days or something like that. I mean, it was a couple of days. It really wasn't that much, yet it really has thrown, I'd say, his game for a little bit of a loop here. And I think there's a little bit of frustration creeping in. And I agree with Struds, just kind of not moving those feet the way he normally does. But yeah, he'll be just fine.
All right, this is, I think, a good observation from Knockout Panda says, I'm a bit worried about Savoy now lost in the bottom 6. Obviously, we're not seeing his name on the score sheet. He's also not making a ton of mistakes either. Maybe that's just kind of where a young player ends up, and you're happy with that. But what are you thinking about Savoy in the bottom 6, Shogger? What would you like to see?
Yeah, this is part of what Struddy's been hammering on about the need for a third line. Like Matt Savoy can't be the best player on the line. You know what I mean? Like he needs to be a complementary player on a third line. And I think the idea of him in the top six, he'll get spot duty here and there, I think. But I think his spot on this team is as a third line player. But they just need guys that are playing better next to him and not be in a situation where he's got to be the best player on the line night in, night out. So I think he's a little bit of a victim of other people's play, Struds. He's a young player that needs players playing well around him.
Yeah, well, he needs support, right? This isn't Connor McDavid. You put out there 2 garbage cans. So is he a solution on the third line? Yeah, I think he could be. Do they have other people that can be a solution? Yes. But you can't just bring up Ike Howard and put him with Savoy and then have player XYZ as a center that isn't a third line center and expect that line to cook, as my kids would say.
11-17 last night. He was.
Struddy, you may have kind of answered this before, but let's come at this. This is, I think, a different way to look at it. Father Power says, with the players we have, how can we create a third line? Top 6 as we ended the game should stay. So other than the top 6 as it ended, let's say of everybody, including guys who are injured right now, guys in the minors, without a move, and I know you advocate probably for getting someone else. Who's your ideal third line of the guys in the mix?
Well, it's funny because I think that this is what the coaching staff would think about every night as they lay their head down on their pillow, right? What's an internal solution to this? And I think Savoy's part of that for sure. I think Henrique can be a part of it, maybe on the left wing. And then at center, is it Janmark? It's funny. Oilers Nation had put a post up of what the Oilers lines were last year, this game, the last game of the year. And Janmark was their third line center last year. So, do you give the janitor a chance at third? So is it the janitor with Henrique and Savoy? Not the biggest line, but all 3 smart guys. You've got speed, some real smarts in there. So maybe that's an opportunity. No big bodies. So I guess if that was good enough last year this time, let's roll it up again, Zoobs. And then that puts Lazar as my 4th line center.
Yeah, I mean, what if you go 10, 20, 22? So Frederick Lazar and Savoy. And then you go Henrique, Janmark, Mangiapane. And really it's like a toss-up. Who wants to be the third line tonight? Yeah. I mean, somebody's getting 12 minutes, someone's getting 8, and just let them decide who that's going to be. It's 2 fourth lines, but anyways.
Yeah. So the answer is there's no pure answer. There's no obvious answer right now at center. And I think that's the challenge.
That's the problem. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. A couple people, I'll just kind of wrap this up. A few people asking about sort of the physicality towards the end of last night's game. You had the Max Jones scrap, the Janmark and Zadorov and Nurse, and who I forget who he was involved with, but Schauger, what did you think of it? Was that worthwhile? Was it too little, too late? What did you think of those incidents as they rolled out late in the game?
Fine with Jones. Like, that's a guy that's scrapping for his place in the lineup, and I like the fact that he's willing to do that. So I didn't really see how that came about, but I don't care. I'm fine with that late in the game. The Nurse stuff, I mean, he got tangled up with a guy. The guy, he was a little aggressive with him. The guy tackled him. Nurse wasn't really interested in much of a physical altercation there. I'm fine with that. The game's over. I mean, the Zadorov stuff, like for him to take 2 shots, kind of dummying Janmark there. I think the refs blew that one. I mean, I don't know how you call that square up. The guy punched him twice in the head. So I think the refs did a crappy job of that. Should have been and I know the game's over, but call the penalties that are out there. You can't punch a guy in the head twice and then say you both get 10. That's just goof. I just gave him free shots. So I don't know. The game was well over, and I didn't think that Boston was doing anything so egregious that required some sort of mass response, Struds.
Well, like the Oilers were pissed. Like, it's okay to be pissed off.
Sure.
Like that you just got pounded on New Year's Eve at home. Like, that's a hard one. Not every home loss is the same, and I'm sorry to tell that to fans, but there are some, like Saturday nights when everyone's watching, that's a hard one. And like special nights, like that New Year's Eve, people are excited. You want to, make sure they have a good time, and it wasn't. So you're pissed. So I was glad they were pissed off and showing some anger.
All right. Any more? Zuby?
Yeah, I got. Can I run through? I want to 2 or 3 more. We could try to be fast here. Okay, let's go right
Sounds
then
good,
to this one. I'll talk about some other teams here as well. Matthew Hyman says, at what point of the season should teams accept that it is over and just become sellers? I know this is an Oilers-centric show, but is it time for the Jets brass to look towards next season, which seemed like at the start of this year, that would be an absolutely unthinkable statement, I think, approaching the midway point of the season. Standings in the East are really tight, but in the West, there's some bigger gaps. What are the Jets going to do here, Struddy? You guys mentioned it just quickly in the scoreboard.
Oh boy, the Jets have fallen off, eh? Oh man, what was that? Their 6th or 7th loss last night. They're at the bottom, and they've got a long ways to go. So I think you start looking at what is possible to make moves. Now the Sabres have rattled off 10. They got themselves back in there, but the Jets right now, their center play isn't there. Like Lowry scored his first goal against the Oilers in like 20 games. Jonathan Toews is still finding his legs. Shifley and his line is doing everything, but it's almost like a one-line team offensively, Schauger. So I think you start thinking about, if we don't turn it soon, what are our options here to move off on some guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think you probably give it to the Olympic break. And I don't know what the rush would be to start selling guys off right this second. Just give it to the Olympic break. You never know. They do have the talent in there where if they do turn it, I mean, them winning 12 out of 16 games isn't completely out of the realms of possibilities, and teams do turn it around. So I understand what the question is and why it's being asked, but I just don't know that there's that much of a rush. There's still some runway, and you don't want to pull the pin too early on the season, because that can, if you start sending your players a signal in January that you're pulling the pin on the entire season, it's a little early for me.
Okay, one more, and then we got a quick one just for Struddy. Alex Cognier saying, the non-love for Hyman. Crosby got his Kunitz. This is, of course, coming back to the Team Canada decision. Schauger, I mean, I think we all, it's been broken down, but it does feel like, does McDavid not maybe have the pull that Crosby would have had in his day? Because Kunitz, there was no way Chris Kunitz was being on a team without being Sidney Crosby's right or left-hand man, right? Correct?
Yeah, I mean, like, does Connor McDavid just say to Coop, I want Hyman? Like, I want him, bring him. I mean, if he does that, do they? I'm not sure. But I don't think that's Connor either. Like, I don't think he's necessarily wired that way. I mean, maybe if Hyman had played a full season and we're right on the bubble, maybe. But I just don't know that that's him. This is his first time going through this. He's not the captain, and, he's not what Crosby maybe was back then in terms of, experience and that sort of thing. So I don't know, Struds. I don't see him throwing his weight around in that way, and I don't think that's a bad thing. You?
It's if Hyman had been healthy and had good starts, and it was an omission, I think this is a worthwhile conversation. But I think the fact of the injuries, I think that makes a difference or the injury for Hyman. And I don't know that Connor would or wouldn't do that, but like Kunitz was rolling pretty hard during that period of time when he was invited and was healthy, as I recall.
I wonder too I wonder how he feels about Bennett not being on the team. There's a bit of history there, and like fair point. I mean, he saw what Bennett did in that final as well. So, anyways, good question though.
Last one quickly, Arthur. We've talked about this, but Struddy, it seems like time to revisit it. Arthur wants to know: would Struddy rather win a gold medal or a Stanley Cup? What would have been your top choice?
Stanley Cup for sure, but a close second, like right there, is the gold medal because it's for your country. But a Stanley Cup is, to me, still the A1.
Yeah. Okay, that was Ask Us Anything, our first of the year. Great job, everybody. Great job, Zuby. Brought to you by Maria Gallus, mortgage broker. Let's wrap the show here with our play of the day, brought to you by Mainline Water and Sewer, your trusted choice for over 40 years, specializing in sewer line replacement, expert water line repair and replacement. Their trenchless method is quick, low impact, and often finished in a day, complete with backflow protection. Visit mainlinewaterandsewer.ca. What do you have for a play of the day, Struds?
Well, there's so many options here, but I'm calling my own number. an apology to you, Ryan, to start 2026 for all the mean comments I made about your golf groin and the karma snapping back and hitting me. So I apologize. And that obviously is a play of the day for 2026, January 1.
Yeah, I'm with that, buddy. Let's work in a little humility in 2026, shall we?
Sure.
I like the direction that this is heading in. Good stuff.
Start.
That might have been the play of the year for me. The morning of January 1st. I don't know that anything's going to beat. Now, if Brownie agrees with me at some point on the show, that'll be close. Yeah, that'll be close. Okay, we got to do our resolutions, fellas. Our New Year's resolutions for the show. I don't know if you have any personal ones or not, but anything personal you got, anything for the show. Zuby, why don't we start with you, buddy? What do you got for New Year's resolutions?
Well, they kind of intertwine. I think I'm going to resolve to try to get more sleep. I think you see how important that's supposed to be to your overall health, and I ignore it. And as it relates to the show, I need to be more efficient. Sometimes once the show's completed, I still have a fair bit of work to do, but sometimes it's like, there's a little, there's a little bit of tension and hustle and bustle in doing the show live. And then I kind of relax a little bit and take my time, and I got to be tighter so I can get to bed earlier is the biggest part of it as well. So I'm just going to try to be a little tighter once the camera goes off.
I like that, buddy. No more folding laundry at midnight too. That's weird.
That's a good one. I'm going to try to see the Oilers' success through the offensive lens like Brownie does more than I do the other way. So I kind of started that this morning. Let's see if I can keep it up for another 364 days.
All right. I like that one. For me, I want to try and get back to our roots a little bit here on the show, and this will require some help from our listeners if you want to. You don't have to share if you don't want to, but the name of our podcast is Got Your Back. And the reason that we named it that is because, obviously athletes have each other's backs. Hockey players have each other's backs. We all have each other's backs here on the show. So there's a fit there. But part of it was our Got Your Back storytelling. We love hearing stories, and we still do it when we have new people on the show. We ask them for their Got Your Back story. But ever since we went to a post-game model, we don't have as many guests on the show. And as a result, we don't have quite as much Got Your Back storytelling on the show. And I really love that. That was kind of the core of the idea for Got Your Back. So I'd like to see if we can get back to our roots and do a little bit more Got Your Back storytelling on the show. So asking the listeners, asking the viewers, if you have a story about a time in your life where somebody had your back, where you were down and out a little bit and someone came through for you, fire us an email, tell us your Got Your Back story. And we'll be kind of open to doing a little bit more of that on the show. gybpod@gmail.com is the email address. That's gybpod@gmail.com. But would like a little more Got Your Back storytelling on the show, Struds. We loved that about season 1 of the show. It was a little different. We had regular guests. Yeah. So we loved that about this idea on this show.
Yeah, I look forward to hearing from the listener, especially, the ones that are commenting all the time. They all must have a great, interesting story to share.
All these regulars, everybody over on our Discord. I think, Zuby, we've even got a spot on our Discord for some Got Your Back stories, don't we? So fire them in there.
That's exactly what I was going to say. We do have there's a thread within the Got Your Back Discord labeled GYB stories. If you want to share them publicly, we'll look at them and we might even share some on the show. Neil Garrity, get over there. You got something, pal.
Yeah, for sure you got something. And look, it can be big, small, it can be funny, it can be serious, it can be absolutely anything. And we're willing to read those stories and share those stories because this is it's a hockey show primarily, but it's filled with human beings. And we got some amazing ones on the show. We got some amazing ones that listen. And so we want to hear from you in 2026. Give us your Got Your Back stories. Well, guys, I'm off to a smashing start in 2026. I feel great about the way 2026 is going. Struds, you?
Yeah, the first 10 hours and 10 minutes have been very productive. I slept through probably about 8 of it, did a podcast for the other 2 hours and 10 minutes. Ready to go.
and we have a new show format. Everything, everywhere, all at once is how we do the segments now for 2026.
You know what we did? We pulled out the knob blender for this show. We used the knob blender on the show script today. This thing is just a mess. I've been flipping back and forth all day. We will tighten it up a little bit for Saturdays. It's the Oilers and the Philadelphia Flyers, afternoon game coming up at 1:30 on Saturday. So we'll drop a show then as well. Thanks so much, everybody. Happy New Year. Thanks for joining us. And by the way, a huge thanks, always necessary, to our amazing partners and our amazing sponsors for all the support that we had in 2025 from them. Looking forward to another great year in 2026. We'll see you, everybody.